I'm going to talk about why I think that these biomechanics are the real root cause of ADHD, or attention deficit disorder. A little while ago, I was working with a friend on a project, and I've been working with him for a while, and I knew he had said that he had ADHD. So he was running a community related to it, and I'd always assumed that he'd always had it since he was a kid and whatnot. But then one night we were waiting to start a meeting, and I asked him, I'm like, you started telling me a bit more about his story, and he said he was diagnosed as an adult, and it was only not that long ago, like a few years ago. And I asked him, how did, what changed? Why did you think you might have ADHD, and why did you go in to get diagnosed? And so he started talking about how he had a short attention span, and it would be difficult for him to focus on things, and sometimes he had trouble retaining information. And when he described it, what he described was a much lesser version of what I went through in 2014 for almost 6 months when a dentist drilled my back teeth and this whole thing started, right? Like, I literally could not retain any information. I had to type everything for months. And when people told me something, it was just gone. Like, if I had to speak impromptu, it was impossible. If I tried to sit down and focus on something complex, I had an attention span of about 5 minutes. And so I just would give up because it would, require too many breaks to try to finish something. And I realized, if what he's describing is ADHD, then I had some very severe ADHD for a while. And it became clear to me that this ADHD thing is just this thing that people slap, or doctors slap as kind of a tag, which I think is just these biomechanics in disguise. So what is ADHD? Proper term is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And basically it's like when your mind's bouncing around and you have a difficult time focusing on details, you have a difficult time managing your time. It makes it more challenging to work. But a lot of people, that even adults that have it, they have successful careers and they are able to manage it. And there are some pharmaceuticals that help them do that. If you ask doctors why they have it, they generally say it's genetic or it's caused by environmental factors, which they leave vague. And if you look at ADHD growth, right, it's growing very rapidly, especially in places like the US. So between 2003 and 2011 alone, it's increased by about 42%. Right. So again, something that goes 42% in 8 years, you cannot say that is genetics. For me, it's just illogical. Genetics didn't change by 42% in 8 years. I think that it is, I think, and I'm pretty confident that it is these biomechanics and essentially the flattening of your curve of Spee because you're grinding your teeth or something, you do some orthodontics, that deflates the skull, deflates the soft tissue, crushes the skull, and that crushes the brain. And then you get, if you were to crush anything, you would expect that the function would be impaired. That is just logical, right? The function that it is impacting, we have come up with names like ADHD and these different neurological diseases. But essentially what it is it is the brain getting crushed and the spinal cord getting twisted. And this is what I've, and what I described to you in 2014, I have gone through lesser versions of that many times as I was getting worse and then improved out of it. How could it be genetic? If what I experienced was more severe than what a person who actually was diagnosed with ADHD, every single one of my symptoms was more severe and I was able to reverse out of it, I have a very strong feeling that everybody else can do the exact same thing. And now, I'm not even done, but I can easily focus for an hour or 2 hours at a time. And I feel like, my brain works better than it did when I was in my mid-20s. I just work from 8 a.m. till 10, 11 p.m. Today's a Sunday. I worked all week till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And yesterday, Saturday, I worked 4 or 5 hours. Today, I'm working another 4 or 5 hours just because I want to. I enjoy it. That is a person that 10 years ago, when he was 10 years younger, would be absolutely fried on the weekends and would be fried after 6 p.m. at night, right? So this is the same person who the only thing that was changed were these biomechanics, and now a 47-year-old functions better than he did at 25. My view is that we're going to eradicate things like ADHD eventually once the medical community accepts and begins to understand these biomechanics, and the world will be a better place.